Good morning, children. Today I am coming with the second video. The topic is privatization. The topic is privatization. And we have to know first what is privatization. I think you might have remember we have discussed about the liberalization and we have discussed the new economic reforms. In new economic reforms, we have discussed the policy of LPG, liberalization, privatization, and globalization. So today I am going to discuss the two part, privatization and globalization. So let us start with the definition which is given. It implies shedding of the ownership or management of a government-owned enterprise. Actually, in privatization, we transfer the ownership of a government sector units to private parties. We can say as privatization is defined as the transfer of a function, activity, or organization from the public sector to the private sector. हिंदी में ऐसे समझना है हमको, निजीकरण इसको कहते हैं। तो निजीकरण में जो सार्वजनिक क्षेत्र के उपक्रम हैं उनका हम किसी निजी क्षेत्र में उसको देना या उसको भेजना, इसको हम प्राइवेटाइजेशन कहते हैं। अब there are two ways of privatization, so you have to understand by withdrawal of the government from the ownership and management of public sector companies and by outright sale of public sector companies. तो यहाँ समझना है कि अगर सरकार इसके प्रबंधन से अलग हो जाए और उसका जो ओनरशिप है अगर उससे अलग हो जाए या किसी कंपनी को या किसी उद्योग को पूरी तरह से बेच दिया जाए निजी क्षेत्र से, तो इसको हम प्राइवेटाइजेशन कहते हैं। प्राइवेटाइजेशन ऑफ पब्लिक सेक्टर एंटरप्राइज बाय सेलिंग ऑफ पार्ट ऑफ द इक्विटी ऑफ PSEs to the public is known as disinvestment. So we have to know what is disinvestment. If the part or it is sold to the public, then it is called a disinvestment. So we have to understand privatization, निजीकरण को हमको अच्छी तरह से समझना है. This is the another method of new economic policy, which is called as LPG, which we have introduced, and after that privatization, it is the second measure. So privatization measure, I already discussed the disinvestment is a sale of a part of equity holding held by the government in any public sector undertaking to private investors. So if government is selling a private sector unit to the a public sector unit to the private sector, it is called as disinvestment. Now coming to the second point, policy of Navratna, we have discussed. Some industries were called as the Navratna, or the government has decided to give special treatment to some of the important profit-making PSUs, and they were given the status of Navratna. These Navratnas were granted financial and operational autonomy in the working of the company. So these are the two measures of privatization, disinvestment and policy of Navratna. Okay. Now we have to know the Navratna Bharat Electronics Limited, which is known as BEL, Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited, BHEL, Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited, BPCL, Coal India Limited, Gas Authority of India Limited, GAIL. So these are coming under the Navratna, and these are given a special status. These industries are given a special status. तो नवरत्न उद्योगों को एक विशेष अधिकार या विशेष इसको कह सकते हैं, उनको हम स्थिति में रखा गया था सरकार के द्वारा. तो इस तरह से we have discussed about the privatization, and this was the second measure. Now I am coming to the last part of LPG policy, that is called globalization. अब हमको इसको समझना है. हिंदी में ग्लोबलाइजेशन को हम वैश्वीकरण कहते हैं. तो ये वैश्वीकरण क्या है, इसको समझना है. ग्लोबलाइजेशन refers to growing economic interdependence among countries in the world with regard to technology, capital, information, goods, services, etc. So globalization, actually, when we integrate one economy to another economy or the world economy, this is called as globalization. So integrating of the economies, it is called as globalization. अगर हम एक अर्थव्यवस्था या कह सकते हैं भारतीय अर्थव्यवस्था को दूसरी अर्थव्यवस्थाओं के साथ जोड़ते हैं या दुनिया की अर्थव्यवस्था के साथ जोड़ते हैं, तो इसको हम वैश्वीकरण कहते हैं. अब इसके लिए क्या किया जाता है? तो फर्स्ट, रिडक्शन ऑफ ट्रेड बैरियर्स टू परमिट फ्री फ्लो ऑफ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज अक्रॉस national frontiers. That is very, very important. Trade barriers, the tariff, licensing, permit can be reduced, so there is a free flow of the goods and services. Actually, this depends upon the old method which was called as the laissez-faire, means the free trade among the nations. What Ricardo and Adam Smith said, that we are discussing, or we are coming to that thing, that free trade among the nations. So there is free flow of goods and services across national frontiers of all the countries. So no country can put a barrier. Creation of an environment in which free flow of capital can take place. This is also very important. Creation of an environment for free flow of capital. So these are the important things which we have to know. तो ग्लोबलाइजेशन में हम देखते हैं कि जो रोक लगाकर देशों ने रखा था उसको कम किया गया, और जिससे वस्तुओं और सेवाओं को दुनिया के देशों में आना जाना सुगम हो सका और पूंजी के लिए एक अच्छा वातावरण तैयार हो सका. So that now we have to know the term globalization has 4 parameters. 4 parameters means reduction of trade barriers to permit free flow of goods and services across national frontiers. So this is very, very important. 4 parameters you have to remember. Reduction of trade barriers. Trade barriers means tariff, import duties. These barriers were reduced to free flow of goods and services across national frontier. So this is very important. Children, you can easily understand that if there is barrier, there is no free flow. तो अगर हम जो बाधाएं अगर हम उसको दूर कर सकते हैं तो निश्चित रूप से वस्तुओं और सेवाएं दुनिया के देशों में आसानी से आ जा सकती है. Creation of an environment in which free flow of capital can take place. Creation of an environment to allow free technology among the nation states. This is also very important. So creation of that environment which can allow free technology transfer among the nation. This is how globalization is taking place. Creation of an environmental in which free movement of labor can take place in different countries of the world. So that is also important. What we are trading with other countries, we are selling our goods to other countries and services to other countries. Next, the capital is flowing from one country to other country and the movement of labor. So no country can make a restriction for entry of labor from any other country. So that is more important. So these are the 4 parameters of ग्लोबलाइजेशन. तो वस्तुओं और पूंजी का हम के लिए हम जो ट्रेड बैरियर्स है उसको कम करें, पूंजी आसानी से दूसरे देशों में जा सके, तकनीक का हस्तांतरण हो और जो श्रम है, जो श्रम शक्ति है वो एक देश से दूसरे देश में आसानी से जा सके. Now we have to know. The first is the outsourcing. Outsourcing means obtaining goods and services by contract from an outside source. The main services which are being outsourced from India by developed countries are voice-based business process known as BPO or call center. Children, now you can see there are many call centers in India which are working and they are providing services from here to Western countries and people are employed in these call centers. Banking services, railway inquiry, record keeping, accountancy, music recording, book transcription, clinical advice, teaching, etc. Now it is taking place and it is outsourced, means they are taking things from other countries. They are not doing their own, but they are hiring or paying for these services to other people even in the other country. Genpact, HCL, BPO, Wipro are some topmost companies offering BPO services in India. So you can see these are the big companies and they are offering the services. तो इस तरह से हम बाह्य क्षेत्र से भी लोगों को ले सकते हैं और उनसे हम काम करवा सकते हैं. So this is very, very important. India is a favorite outsourcing destination. Why India it is a favorite outsourcing destination? You can easily understand because we have a very big population. India can provide a ready supply of skilled people at relatively lower price. Yeah, skilled people are there in the country and they can work at very less price. This is also very, very important. So India, it is a favorite destination for all multinational because they are getting cheap labor from here. The people are skilled and they can provide their services. India has the advantage of time difference as it is located on the other side of the developed country. Actually, you know, India and other country, the Western country, 1 day time difference it is there almost. You can say if there is night or it is the evening in India, there is morning in US or in some country. So this is the advantage. So people in India, they are providing services from here to those people. So that is very, very important. This is India has the advantage of time difference as it is located on the other side of the developed country. Now, main organization for facilitating globalization. Children, already I have discussed about the three main institutions. First is the International Monetary Fund. So India took a loan from International Monetary Fund, and the second is the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, and third is the World Trade Organization. So India took the loan in 1991 from IMF and World Bank. So these two monetary institutions, they made a pressure on India to liberalize, to privatize, and for that we have started this new economic policy. And World Trade Organization, this is very, very important. You have to know, World Trade Organization, it was founded in 1995. It was founded in 1995. It was the successor organization to GATT, General Agreement on Trade and Tariff. So that was the earlier institution. Now World Trade Organization, it was formed in 1995, and this organization was suggesting for multilateral trade agreement and even bilateral and non-tariff agreement. So World Trade Organization, it play a very important role for improving trade relation among the nations. So these are the three institutions which are very important, very important for ग्लोबलाइजेशन और फैसिलिटेटिंग ग्लोबलाइजेशन. तो ये तीन संस्थाओं के नाम याद रखना है: अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मुद्रा कोष, विश्व बैंक या अंतर्राष्ट्रीय बैंक, और तीसरा है विश्व व्यापार संगठन, जिसकी स्थापना 1995 में की गई थी गैट के बाद. तो ये तीन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ये बहुत बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट हैं. What India achieved for this LPG policy, so that we have to know. Rise in GDP growth. Since the introduction of economic reforms in 1991, country has shown a GDP growth rate. In 1981-91, you can see the growth rate was, gross domestic product was only 5.6%. In 2007-12, it was around 8.2%. So there was an increase in the growth rate. Now coming to the another point, foreign exchange reserve. Children, we have discussed in the first part of the video that foreign exchange reserve was very low in 1991. It was only $6 billion in 1991, has shown a tremendous rise to $413 billion in 2018-19. So children, you can understand, from 6 billion to 413 billion US dollars. So this is a tremendous increase in the foreign exchange reserve. We can say that India has the highest reserve, or India is one of the largest foreign exchange reserve holders in the world. तो इस तरह से हम देखते हैं कि भारत का जो GDP है वो भी बढ़ गया, और यहाँ जो फॉरेन एक्सचेंज था वो भी 6 बिलियन से बढ़कर करीब 2018-19 में 413 बिलियन US डॉलर हो गया. तो ये एक बड़ा अचीवमेंट था LPG पॉलिसी का. Now that time inflation was very high. Inflation, you know what is inflation. when the prices of goods and services are rising day by day. But after reform period, there is a control on inflation and it is around 7.6% in 2012-13. And if today's figure you see, it will around, you will get that it is around 4 to 5%. So inflation rate it declined due to the LPG, liberalization, privatization and globalization. तो हम कह सकते हैं कि जो मुद्रास्फीति थी, जो बढ़ रही थी, जो वस्तुओं और सेवाओं की कीमतें दिन प्रतिदिन बढ़ रही थी, तो उनका बढ़ना कम हुआ और ये हमारे कंट्रोल में आ गई. Rise in integration with the world economy, India is now much more integrated with the world economy and has benefited from this integration in many ways. The outstanding success of IT and IT-enabled services has shown what Indian skills and enterprises can do given the right government. So you can see after this policy, you can see there are many hubs, IT hubs are there in India. You can see Bangalore, Hyderabad, even Noida, Gurgaon, they are becoming IT hub because of globalization or liberalization. It is possible. Now, FDI, foreign direct investment, in 2017-18, it is $30 billion. So it is a great achievement for the Indian economy that the foreign direct investment, it increased in India and controlling fiscal deficit. Increasing fiscal deficit, it was a serious problem. After 1991, due to LPG policy, government receipts has been increased, led a fall in fiscal deficit around 5% of GDP. So you can say that the fiscal deficit, which was more, now it is under control. तो हमारा जो ये राजकोषीय घाटा था वो भी कम होने लगा. तो इस तरह से हम देखते हैं कि विदेशी जो हमारे यहाँ निवेश करते थे, सो विदेशी निवेश बढ़ गया, साथ साथ हमारा जो राजकोषीय घाटा वो भी कम होने लगा. Second, generation reforms are development driven and include measures such as corrective policy to focus on a small, marginal, middle and large farmer who suffer from productivity and stagnation. Actually, after LPG, we find in 2012 to 2050, there is a decline in the industrial growth, though the agriculture growth was better, but industrial growth. So we have taken certain corrective policies for small and marginal and middle and large farmers. Generate employment opportunities include those that can be provided by micro and a small enterprise. So in the agricultural sector, there are many types of unemployment, so that can be reduced by including micro and small scale enterprises in those areas. And especially in the agriculture sector to develop quality infrastructure. Next, to provide essential public service to the poor and to establish accountability of service provider. To expand vocational training institutes, not only in terms of number of persons they train, but also in terms of number of different skills and trade, they teach for meeting industry requirement. So this is also done during the second generation reform. And we focused on the vocational training for the persons and reforming the labor laws to reduce public debt and consequently the burden of interest and debt service charges, to protect the environment, that is to improve air quality, to have clean rivers and water bodies, and to raise energy efficiency. So these are the things which are done. So children, we have discussed the LPG policy and new economic reforms. So this is the chapter which we have discussed. You go through the textbook once again and you can learn better. So thank you, children.